Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for the APB recap. This recap will talk about all the things that I talk about in my APB stream. I'll talk about most of the hooplas there. I am so busy in real life and YouTube pretty much demonetizes and blacklisted this channel. So guys, please check out my stream channel, link down below, where I primarily make most of my content these days. Also, you can check out the links down below where you can support my content even further. One more important announcement in regards to the hoopla and in regards to the recap in general. You might notice that it's pretty late, and that's because I am busy. And I mean busy with real life stuff. I've been doing the recap pretty much one day after the stream, but YouTube demonetizes my channel, which means that I can have more recap topics, more things to talk about without any sorts of worries of being demonetized, more creative freedom of my content without any sorts of advertiser restrictions. All of those are great, but it takes time. I want to give you guys the absolute best, and I need more time so that I don't get stressed out with lots of stuff in real life and this as well. So all the recaps will have a consistent schedule from this point on. It'll be published around 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, depending on the daylight savings thing, except it'll be on Monday. In exchange for the delayed schedule, there might or might not be some additional research or updates, or even new hooplas that I haven't discussed in my last stream. I'll discuss those new hooplas again in the next stream for the stream audience's pleasure too. So again, new recap schedules at 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time at Monday. Convert it to your own time. To compensate this hoopla being late, here's a recap exclusive hoopla. Or at least until the next stream. So it's a temporary exclusive, like most PlayStation exclusives these days. You would think that the fighting game community will be more tolerant with the presence of young anime girls, while with most fighting games these days have anime aesthetics like Guilty Gear, Blast Blue, Melty Blood, Cross Tag Battle, etc. But apparently not. There's this fighting game player who got banned from an event because of a tweet that the player posted, which consists of the person just shilling haughty lolis in fighting games. The event organizer said that fighting games is not a place for glorifying minors. Which is interesting when you think about how a lot of fighting games these days are made by the Japanese corporations, and a lot of Japanese fighting games feature anime characters, a lot of which are high schoolers, a lot of which are young girls, a lot of which fall under the loli category, such as Taiga from Toradora, who starred in Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax, which stars other characters from other light novels, one of which is Kirino, the love interest for Oreimo, the incest-like novel. And hey, Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax was made by the same guys who made Melty Blood, and that's White Len from Melty Blood. So the mechanics are good enough for tournaments, but I'm not sure if tournament organizers realized that Melty Blood originally came from Tsukihime, the visual novel that have 5 routes where all of them end up with sex scenes of characters under the age of 18. The visual novel that most people who played Melty Blood never actually played. And even if you dismiss the origins of a lot of these games, the loli character archetype is very common in the anime landscape. Even in something mainstream as Cowboy Bebop, Ed counts by the virtue that she's under 18. Most of the cast in Sailor Moon counts as this. Thanks to most anime having characters to be in high school, most animes would have characters to be under the age of 18. And high schoolers who look young and petite are very common in anime. That's why the normies think that anime fans are all pedophiles. There's nothing wrong with normies trying to avoid us like the plague. I mean, I get it. You're disgusted by us because you can't distinguish between fiction and reality. But even you have to realize how wrong it is for normies to try to profit off of the very same culture that contains all of the stuff that they deem morally reprehensible. To put it simply, if you don't like lolicons in your space, stop endorsing and promoting stuff that have lolis in them. If you don't like people who get drunk, you should stop selling them beer. So there are these 2 reviews from Indonesia talking about battery chargers that support AA and AAA batteries, also known as in the Dankpot worlds as not included. Thanks, boys. These reviews said that the charger is not functional and that the fluids inside the batteries actually went out. Jeez, that's horrible. What could have caused such a thing? Now, I don't know about you guys, but from what I'm seeing there, those are not lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. Those are normal, everyday, disposable alkaline batteries. You don't recharge those batteries, bro. You dispose them once they're, out. I'm just saying, that's the level of intellectual capacity that a lot of us have here. In a world where people can't even read analog clocks. Brazilian stripper interrupts Peruvian president's online corruption hearing. Brazilian stripper? What kind of Brazilian stripper?
It's the...
Vi sitter här i väntan och spelar lite Dota. I hear you man.
I hear you, man. I hear you, man. I hear you, man. I hear you, man. I hear you, man. I hear you, man. That's right, guys. Ricardo Milos is back, and he's apparently pulling a Tifa. The video of Ricardo Milos appeared, and the person where the feed appeared from said that he's a victim of computer crime. Computer crime? What the hell is a computer crime? Ah, yes. Fox News, always with the classic moral outrage takes. Online porn should be banned, and it's long overdue. Long overdue. That would imply that there was a set date for this ban, and we just passed it. Who's the dumbass that set up a date for this ban? And how the hell did we pass that? For 30 years, we've let the internet harm children, society, with porn. And you know what? I agree. You have let the internet to harm children. Not me. I'm trying to do my best to let internet to not harm children. But hey, thank you for being honest and admitting your mistakes. What I'm about to suggest will seem bizarre, maybe impossible, but hear me out. I mean, I will try, but this is such an old moral outrage that at this point, you're gonna have to give some new arguments, man. We learned that in 2019, study from the British Board of Film Classification that 51% of 11 to 13-year-olds had seen pornography online. That's normal. No, seriously, that's pretty freaking normal. People at that age have actually gone to wilder stuff like, you know, actual full-blown sex. All you need to do as responsible parents is to educate your kids in these things. Oh wait, boomers don't want to take responsibilities. This despite the fact that one can still be arrested for handing a pornography magazine to a child. There's a big difference between porn being available and widespread online and deliberately handing a porn magazine to a minor. The first one is only accessible if the person is willing to access them. The second one is a straight-up felony. Finally, we are told that this is up to parents, as if kids don't go to libraries or schools or have friends. Yes, because those are the kinds of things and people that you should go to in matters of your children's sexual education. That worked out really well in the past couple of months. In this year of the parent, we also learned that many don't want to co-parent with the state. In other words, they don't want to do their responsibilities. And you wonder why society is failing. But they also see the need for state action to protect kids, such as bans on drag shows for them. There's a reason why this clip is always on my stream intro. Because fetuses need to be gone from all of these adult stuff.
Call child services. Have this little psychopath committed.
Or here's an actually bizarre and maybe impossible idea. Ban kids off of the internet. Fetuses, please be gone. So in order to continue the war against drugs, the DEA recently posted a guide that has finally deciphered a bunch of coded messages that the teenagers have been using in order to order illegal drugs from the dealers. The messages include emojis that hide these secret codes for certain drugs. The codes are as follows. I mean, really? You have to make a guide in order to decipher these messages? Having a guide implies that people may not understand what a lot of these coded messages mean. This guide implies that people are a bunch of idiots. This is straight from the DEA. This guide is straight from the DEA. Can you believe why the war on drugs is still going? There are also other drugs like meth. I mean, if you can't discern that based on the freaking crystal ball or the diamond, you clearly haven't watched Breaking Bad. There's also heroin and cocaine, MDMA and mollies, marijuana, cough syrup, and mushrooms. Mushrooms. You really broke the code there, DEA. I wouldn't have been able to figure that one out myself. I mean, can you believe why the war on drugs is still going on and we're still losing? Guys. Did you know that Activision Blizzard did nothing wrong, as investigated by Activision Blizzard? That's right, guys. Activision Blizzard did nothing wrong, as investigated by Activision Blizzard. All of that harassment scandal, all of the women and people of color being discriminated, all of the breast milks being stolen. No, really, that happened. that actually happened. There's really nothing wrong here, guys. Don't worry, we said so. Back it up. we're definitely in the wrong here. We should have listened to the most trusted source of the scandals inside Activision Blizzard, and that is Activision Blizzard. Don't worry, guys. Los Pollos Hermanos is just a normal chicken joint and not a front for drug smuggling, as said by Gus Fring, the owner of Los Pollos Hermanos. Very trustworthy source, I know. Crypto bros are taking some serious L's right now, to the point where it gets more and more depressing as time goes on. Lots and lots of people trusting their money on these investments, only to see them just crash and burn. This person over here takes coping to a whole new level. Sunderland crypto scam victim tried to rob a shop with a gun. He's about to be a husband investing on his wedding, but he spent all that money on crypto. The crypto crashed, it's all a scam, and he robbed the store because of it. But don't worry, guys, when he was arrested, it was all a joke. It was just a prank, bro. That's right, I pointed a real gun at you and threatened your livelihood, but it's all just good fun, guys. Don't worry about it. Bruce Campbell, I need you.
It's official. You guys are dick.
I don't know why I'm imagining these things that these pranksters do as a 90s Mentos commercial. You know, the ones in the 90s where someone do something really stupid and then it's excused because, oh, don't worry, guys, it's just Mentos. So in my mind, it probably goes like this.
Fresh goes better with Mentos Fresh. Fresh goes better with Mentos Fresh and Volatile.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
We can't go out on a week without Kotaku giving some really bad takes, like sexism accusations. Gaming's latest AI woman recycles the usual sexist tropes. So this is in regards to PUBG's virtual human technology, and to use it for not just in its games, but also for its esports demonstrations, and in the hope of creating more virtual influencers and singers, like robot Instagram Michaela. No, that's Millennia, Blade of Michaela. Anna is designed to engage in a global audience and help establish Krafton's Web 3.0 ecosystem that will attract the interest and popularity of Gen Z. It also has advanced technologies like voice synthesis so that she can act and sing just like a real human. So basically, it's a more modern looking and hyper-realistic Vocaloid. This isn't even a new thing. It's the same concept but with modern technology. And here's Kotaku getting outraged by it. Their first outrage is that this is just another pretty pale girl. She's airbrushed but still tangible. She's biting her tongue looking at you. I fear she exists only to be looked at and not much else. Well, yes. That's the point of virtual entertainers in general. They're there to look good and act good. Please tell me what's wrong with it, or would you rather have real women in there? The writer asks several really dumb and stupid questions like, do you think Anna's design will alienate female gamers? So you're implying that women in gaming are people who are so insecure that they are threatened by the mere presence of a virtual woman. You think women in gaming are just as insecure as you? What an incredibly misogynistic notion! Then the writer asks, is Krafton doing anything to prevent Anna from relying on stereotypes? That depends on what you define as a stereotype, because not all stereotypes are bad, not all stereotypes are harmful, and not all stereotypes are wrong. The writer continues by saying, it's eternally frustrating to be a woman excited by video games and the internet, only to have their potential routinely diluted to the same tedious tropes a straight man depends on to get off. And that's bad. Why? Is it bad because it's outdated? Or is it bad because you're jealous of its existence? Or is it bad because, God forbid, men jerk off to it? I'm starting to think that it's the last two. Sony fanboys are absolutely livid these days. The moment Sony promised that a lot of their exclusives are going to be on PC, they're going to have to deal with the fact that their investments in their consoles are just not really that worth it after a couple of years, because most of their games are coming to the PC. But hey, at least it's not as bad as Xbox's exclusives, which are non-existent, and not as bad as the Switch exclusives. Guys, if they're on the Switch, they're on the PC. And this gets even worse thanks to the announcement of Spider-Man on the PC, wherein last week we see a guy straight up sawing his Spider-Man PS4 Pro in half because he promised that he'd do that if it will come to the PC. This Steam user over here is absolutely coping, and I mean seething and coping. I feel ripped off knowing Spider-Man is coming to PC. Good! You should feel like you're being ripped off, because that's what Sony was doing. That's the whole point of console exclusives. They're providing games that only work in that console. and that console only. But Sony wants to broaden their appeals with PC releases. I played Spider-Man on the PS4 and I really enjoyed it. I don't mind playing it again on the PC, as long as I don't pay for it, because Sony can go suck it. And you know who else wants to get a broader release? The Persona series. Persona 3 Portable and Persona 5 Royale are coming on the PC and Xbox, with Persona 4 Golden following suit for the Xbox as well. I am genuinely excited. Finally, the Persona series is moving to a more sensible platform that actually gets, proper support. But an issue comes brewing in the form of this tweet. So excited to announce that I am the localization coordinator for the release of Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden on Xbox and Windows. Now, people have issue with the OP of this tweet because the OP has made lots and lots of bad takes and bad localizations in the past. Last week, link video below or in the end screen, we talk about the localization of the manga, I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend Into a Girl. Turns out that 7 Seas was caught with more localization changes that are not exactly up to par. But the person who claimed to be the localization coordinator made a post saying that they fully support this translator. The translation, in case you missed it, involves turning a guy who is a crossdresser and not at all trans into trans. Now, who else in the Persona series that is a crossdresser and not at all trans? Naoto Shirogane from Persona 4. Did you know that there's a mod for the PC version of Persona 4 Golden that changed Naoto to trans? Did you know that the mod has 2 versions with 2 different pronouns? Because even the modder doesn't know what Naoto's trans pronouns are? You would think that a trans character would make the world to know what their preferred pronouns are. But apparently not. It's almost as if Naoto isn't trans or something. So this localization coordinator who turned a crossdresser character into someone that he's not is causing a lot of concern for people. If this person is the localization coordinator, then there's a good chance that the localization for Persona will be ruined, such as having Naoto to be turned, trans. Personally, I'm not really that concerned. Why? Well, there are several reasons actually, and I'm gonna get to all of these one by one. First off, turning Naoto trans would mean that a lot of her stories would have to be changed accordingly. Doing so would lead into other parts of the game's stories, including the main ones, to be affected. Keep in mind that Naoto's own dungeon, which is based on her issues and insecurities, is a significant plot point in the main story. Changing that to suit Naoto to becoming trans will require a lot of work, one that I'm sure will give a lot more headache to the Japanese Atlus team. Granted, Atlus has been known to censor stuff in the past, and I've shown them many times before, and I'm gonna show them again. Persona 3 Portable removed Junpei's remark from Persona 3 Fest about that crossdresser. Persona 5 Royale changed the dialogues between Ryuji and those 2 queer guys. Catherine Full Body removed one dialogue from Catherine Classic that implies that Vincent knows that Erika used to be Eric. Those are very minor changes. Technically speaking, they can be done. Changing Naoto so that she's trans is a lot more work than all of those changes. But hey, maybe Atlus would go through that extra mile and change it. Maybe Atlus will do all sorts of localization stuff just to appeal to these people. My second reason why I'm not worried is that these games are ports. These games are ports of already existing games. Games that you can get even for free. Not legally for sure, but hey, that's the risk that you have to take when you sell the 7 Seas. And you should sell the 7 Seas because corporations love to screw you over. And this is one way for you to screw them back and save money in the process. Let's get to them one by one, shall we? Persona 3 Portable, you can play them on the PPS-SPP emulator, which can run in most modern PCs and even mobile phones. Heck, my brother played through the entire game on his phone. You can even get the undubbed version if you want just the Japanese audio. If you don't like the portable version, you can get the FES version, which you can play using the PCSX2 emulator that can run on most modern PCs these days. Persona 4 Golden is already available on the PC, and if they patched it with their new localization stuff, there are mods to revert that change back. Persona 5 Royale and Persona 3 Portable will come to the PC as well, and there will be mods that can fix a lot of the stuff too. And since they will be on the PC, if you don't want to spend money on Atlus, they will be cracked. Persona 4 Golden is already cracked, so we'll just have to wait for Persona 3 Portable and Persona 5 Royale to be cracked. And speaking of Persona 5 Strikers is also already cracked on PC. Oh, and one more thing. If you have a PS4 that has been jailbroken, you're in luck because you can get the PKGs of Persona 5 Royale and install them on your jailbroken PS4. for free. I agree that localization is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. That doesn't mean that we can't do nothing about it. Obviously, we can't complain to the localizers themselves, but they clearly won't listen. Obviously, we can complain to the developers and publishers, but they're big companies, so they tend to not listen. So when those scenarios have been done, and people are still doing it, but still no, results from it, I'm providing more alternative solutions for people to deal with this issue. Or you can just not support the company and buy something else. In this industry, money talks the biggest after all. But considering how popular Persona is, none of this really matters anyway. The ports are gonna sell like gangbusters. At least we know that the Persona fans actually get to play the games for the first time in their lives. And that's all for the recap today, guys. Thank you so much for the support that you've been giving to me. It's been absolutely wonderful. If you guys want to support me even further, my stream channel is linked down below. Go subscribe there because that's where I am most active. I'm super busy in real life and I can't make too many videos. And also my channel is demonetized, so I can't make money off of these recaps. But it's still fun to make and it's a nice way for me to make content in this channel. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.